Okay, looks like we're live here. Hey, what's up, guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome to another episode of Legendary Game of Heroes gameplay. It is a non-event day, or I should say non-preview day. I'm doing a stream tonight because I figured it would be a good. I wanted to try something a little bit different. Wanted to try and do a little bit of a I don't know, a play and chat type thing. And so I just want to make sure that, let's see, feels like this is not, oh, I guess it is. Sorry, my chat is behaving a little bit weird. Yes, this is going to be a live stream, and so this is not going to be a recorded video. The goal of this, really, I'm just going to be playing and going to hang out a little bit here. I'm going to talk about, some of the reasons why I am not I did not actually do a preview video earlier, and so I'm just going to see how things go. All right, so let's see. Let's go and refresh this for a second. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the stream here, and thanks for joining me here. All right, so let's go ahead and you know what? Something's going on here. I have this here, but it feels like I am actually. Can you guys tell me if you're on the stream right now? Is this showing? I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm live right now. It's weird because I feel like I have a stream going, but it's telling me that there's another one. Anyways, I'm doing a non preview stream here. I figure I'm gonna just go and play, and I wanted to sort of talk about sort of like how I feel about the game right now, where things are going, and just one of the reasons why I wasn't able to do a preview video earlier, right? So wanted to see how you guys felt, but I've been kind of feeling like the game has gone a little bit stale, to be honest with you. It's more of the same, right? And a lot of the times I take a look at the cards, and I kind of look at how it applies to the previous cards that we have and how we can work on it together. And then I realize that it's really the same sort of recipe over and over again, just to make sure that you have an ultimate form. If you don't have an ultimate form, then you can't really compete. And a lot of the really useful cards are not quite available for people to get, and so it's just like that cycle. And look at this, we've got people from UK, Sweden, Hungary, and also Hong Kong. So we got a lot of different people joining from different places. So thanks for joining me here. So anyways, this particular event, I did pull only 2 tiers. I did not actually get anything from those 2, but I did manage to get 4 total support cards. So all 4 of the cards I pulled were support cards. So that was actually really interesting, but couldn't really find a home for them for my deck. So what I guess I can do is I can just kind of show you the deck that I am using. It's a very slow deck for this event. I'm sure a lot of people probably have different and better decks, especially if you have the current ultimate form. But if you are using a previous event sort of decks, the 2 cards you're going to want to include in there are going to be your high performance unit area. This is the card that I've always highly recommended that you get. This was the one that I personally got for free when we had the free ultimate form event, so I got really lucky and got this one as a reward. But really, the Freedom Fighters is going to be a really good card for you to use because of its ability to nuke for 5 times damage. And so Regal Revolutionaries is good because it upgrades your power gems, right? And so now, because I have Defraggers, it's also Immortal Killer. I'm using it for the power gem creation, and I'm using Custodians of Fate to, again, another ultimate form here to just generate as many power gem 6s as I could. All right, and notice that I have the high performance unit area as the leader here because this card will grant additional attack for all Dark Immortal killer heroes as opposed to just Slayer or Commander, and so putting as a leader will allow you to do more damage. And let's take a look here. So we got to Old School Savage. Let's see if we can get our attack. So with this particular setup, it is a 3-turn deck. It is very slow based on what I've been saying, like, hey, it's a slow deck, and people, probably wouldn't use it in a Slayer event. But given the options I have, this still works okay. So let's take a look at the damage, right? So the first thing is you have to attack first without actually activating your unit area. Then you activate it just before you get attacked, and you activate everything else. And so I could get pretty good damage from this. It's just a matter of, speed, right? So usually by the time that I am able to get off an attack, the bosses are dead. Although this particular event, it didn't feel like there is that many people competing for bosses. Maybe that's just, I'm not sure. That's just how it feels. Like in previous Slayer events, it is, usually like you do an attack and everything is dead. Okay, so my Freedom Fighter Slayer was able to deal 862 trillion, and this is pre-nuke, right? So I was still able to get to a point where I could deal an additional 4 quadrillion damage if needed. And so I'm not really hurting for the Corellian bosses, and so I can still use the old deck, right? I can still use an old deck just fine. But I just kind of felt like I really wasn't sure how to give people suggestions, right? Because like if you look at the deck that I am using, and I look around at like some of the recommended decks that you can use, it's always full of ultimate forms. And yes, I did get I have been around for a long time. I've collected a lot of these ultimate forms, and I find that these are really the only options I can come up with. Anything else, the real variety is combining Commander versus Slayers, right? And that's pretty much it. Because they fixed Gym Crush 2.0, a lot of the off affinity, dual affinity type decks are no longer useful. This particular event deck, it was like a watered down version of Supreme Elohim, in that when you have like an attack boost or a damage boost, it creates power gems, but there's a limit to the number of times it can do it. Like it limits it to 6 times, so it's going to feel a little bit weaker compared to Elohim. And we know that Supreme Elohim was already nerfed. Okay, and so when I saw this, the thing that I liked about it is that it's a 1-turn cooldown deck, and that it does give you more power gems the more attack boost you get, so you can sort of combine other cards with it. But beyond that, I just kind of felt like it's more of the same to me, right? So it's just, and then like if you take a look at the other cards that you have that you could use, I mean, like I have 4 support cards, but I can't even really use it. Like I'll show you what it's like to use multiple support cards, and that is what a lot of people are faced now when they try to play, and that is there's a huge difference between having the ultimate form and not. And I've been reflecting a lot lately, just looking at the cards that I used to recommend and really enjoy. Those were the days when we didn't have killer skills. Those were the days when we had class-based skills, so you can have different affinities, you can have different cards, you can have slayers, commanders all working together, and it's really not like that anymore. Anyways, while I'm here, I guess I might as well kind of talk about like how I feel about these other cards. So here's a Master Collection card, right? So this is basically another one that's a 1-turn deck, and it just creates power gems, and it increases the Slayer attack by 80%. That's it, right? There's nothing else about this. And so if I had to compare between the Master Collection card and the Ultra Rare card, which is Undercover Agent still creates some power gems, and it creates passively too when you when you have a buff. So like in like the way I think about this, the Ultra Rare card has a little bit more versatility in that it could go up to 12 power gems, whereas the Master Collection card can only go up to 6, but they're sort of both the same, right? And so there really isn't one card that is better than the other. We got a couple more people from different places. We also got Manfred from Switzerland, and we've got Jason Fox from New Zealand. Welcome here. And let's see, Goran, so you've got the event deck, but it's slow and doesn't yield that much damage, so you do need area in order to take on Corellian bosses. You can also use other cards. There's another card that you can use, which is not area. But if you take a look at the Fire Immortal cards, right? So if you take a look at the Fire Immortal Killer, this card is going to be available it's available now, right? It's available in the Proving Grounds, and this is going to be Perceptive Screws, which is going to be the event card that you can use in the upcoming Fire Commander event. This is the one where if you get hit, you also increase some damage, and this is going to be 1200% attack boost, so you can also use this. I've seen some people combine this one and also high performance unit area, so that is also an option. So let's go ahead and attack here. So what I've been doing is, I've just been like going through my own bosses. Like, I don't really need to lock it here because, like I said, I haven't felt that a lot of people are sniping. Probably just like people said, it's people are having how should I say this? What I've seen is that there are people who have really good cards and they're able to come up with some good turn 0 options just by using the full event deck and some other. I think the Goliaths, like the deck that does the I forgot to activate my my skill. Anyways, there is that deck that's a commander beast commander card that upgrades dark power gems. You use that. You use Regal Revolutionaries. You use the event deck, and you're generally gonna be able to get up to I don't know the exact number, but I've seen people deal some really good damage there. I can't remember if I also saw them use high performance unit area, but for sure they didn't if they're looking at a turn 0 deck. With a turn 0 deck, I think what you're looking for is create a lot of power gems in the beginning and then just do a bunch of power gem upgrades, right? So just kind of like, for the fire deck, you always want to use the Culinary Kings to upgrade all of your fire power gems. Same thing with this deck. You want to use the dark one that can also give you the dark power gem upgrade, and you should be able to deal at least 1 to 2 quadrillion damage to take out your bosses on turn 0. So like I haven't built a turn 0 deck yet, and so I've been just focused on playing my own boss and going 3 turns. I'm not even bothering with the locking right now. I kind of feel like if people can come in and take my boss, and so be it, I'll just move on to the next one. Common William Deep feels like there are more bosses available too. Maybe, like, I'm sure, like, so like the reality is there are a lot of improvements I know that the dev team is working on, right? They're working on a lot of improvements. Like one of the things that they mentioned is, this change in the layout. And so if you notice, your prestige layout is now combined with also the ability to summon your frenzy bosses. Now, when I was trying to prestige the first day, I ended up starting frenzy so many times. Like instead of prestiging up, I will end up like starting a frenzy. So that was a little bit of a and something I had to get used to, but this I think was supposed to help with the fact that some people couldn't see their bosses on iPads, and I hope that this has fixed it a little bit, because I don't have this game on the iPad, so I haven't tested it, but I thought I saw some people mention that it looks like it's better now, so hopefully it is the case, because it was like people were seeing just like a sliver of it. Anyways, I don't know, like how do you guys feel about the game right now? Like, are you enjoying the events? And which do you prefer? Do you prefer commander events or Slayer events more? I think I've always enjoyed Slayer events a little bit more, just because it feels a little bit exciting. You're trying to fight for MVP. You're trying to get as many bosses as you can, and I basically lost a lot of motivation last commander event. And so if you take a look at my I'm actually top 70. If you look at my leadership right now, I've dropped from emperors down to kings, and that's not actually very easy to do. It's not that easy to drop from emperors, to be honest with you. If you put in like some effort daily, and if you're especially in commander events, you should be able to stay afloat. But I just felt like also last commander event, our guild as a whole, we were struggling and trying to get take the bosses down. I tried really hard to help out. Let me see if I have the deck here still. So this was the deck I used, right? I didn't have the team either, and so I used the water chaotic deck, and this was okay, but then the combination of slumber and chaos and all of that made it really difficult. Like slumber really killed my deck, so like I would deal half the damage and I have to come back and try again, and it just got really exhausting for me. And so I think the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about is, for me, really is just I feel that the game as a whole, like there are elements that are really, really fun, but it's also really tied to your ability to get a good deck to do good damage, and also like whether you can actually have the stamina to keep up with the events, right? Like I feel like after playing for like an hour or two, I just get so drained. And so I needed to take a break. Like that's really what it was. I really just needed to take a break the last couple of days. And then now I'm a little bit recharged, so I kind of wanted to get together and hang out with you guys a little bit. Again, like I don't really have like a topic in mind. I just kind of wanted to hang out and chat a little bit. I think there was a question, Bowen chat, Zhang, should I wait for the Earth event to possibly get Jailers, or should you get the Regal Revolutionaries? That's a good question. Between the two, I would say Jailers is going to give you more versatility for events. So if you don't already have Jailers, comparing Jailers to Regal Revolutionaries, I would say that Jailers is going to be better for you. Just because you can use it in any commander event, whereas Regal Revolutionaries really only applies in dark events. And so depends on how you're doing right now. If you're finding yourself like doing okay, then I would say not to worry about that. All right, so I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and try and build up a deck that can help me in turn 0. And at the same time, what I want to do is like, let's go ahead and evolve all of my Dark Immortal Killer support cards, because I got a lot of them, right? So let's see if I can actually go ahead and evolve them, and we can take a look and sort of see how things are. I also didn't pull the event card from my trophy. I think, what did I get? The one I got was Baron, right? So unfortunately couldn't really use that either. Oh, I don't even have enough to upgrade. So I got all of these support cards, okay? All of these Dynamite Dinas, and I couldn't really even upgrade them to level to 6 stars. That is so sad. That is really, really sad. Right? Because like I wanted to try and use the Dynamite Dina, but ultimately like you need to have a card that can also activate like an attack or damage buff. So I needed to add something to this. I guess we'll go up to 5 stars and then we will see how this goes, right? This is the experience for people who don't have the event deck. This is of people who are mostly free to play, or have very little gems that they can afford to buy lots of cards. And so what can they do? What options do they have? So let's go ahead and first fill up our cards here. So let's go ahead and change this. So we'll go power here. So we have, where are my 5-star Dinas? So here's 1, 2, 3, and number 4. All right. And now I need a card that has like an attack buff or attack boost. I don't I don't know if I have one from unit area is not until 200 intensity. Loathsome Bather. Okay, so this one can be used, right? This one is, so let's use this, right? So you cannot use this as a leader. So you can have to put it in like another slot. And then let's go and put in some Immortal Killer relics. So I think for me, this is going to be I don't even have relics this event. Isn't that sad? I don't even have relics for this particular event because I didn't go up to tier 3. All right, so let's take a look here, right? So this is like a very basic generic setup, and I would argue that this is even better than probably what some of the other people have, because I have a card that can give me attack boost that can at least give me power gems or some gems. Like these cards, if you don't have an attack boost available, you can't generate any cards. Is what I saw. So let's see how much damage I can do here. This is going to be interesting. So let's see. I don't know how to say your name here, but you're from Czech Republic. This is really cool. We have some really good. Oh, I activated the wrong way. So here it is, right? This is a mistake that I made right away. So I completely botched that. So I needed to reverse my activation order. And so we're going to come back. We're gonna try this again. Hopefully I'll be able to. Oh my gosh, this is terrible, right? So let's try it one more time. And there's also armor, which we do not dispel. And so we're gonna have to see how this is gonna work out. I'm using 3 keys right now. Let's see if this is going to be better, right? So I activate that. Now when I activate the support card, now I can actually generate cards, gems, right? So there is sort of like a fundamental flaw in this particular support card. Like had I done a preview for this deck, I would have been able to talk about it. I just dealt one damage. And so we're gonna have to try this again. I would have mentioned that, look, you need to make sure that you have a card that can give you an attack or damage boost in order to actually use the support card. Otherwise, it's going to be a useless card for you. Like, you just saw that. And I made a mistake and the deck is completely like moot. And now my concern is if I come in and I don't generate enough power gems, or if I don't generate enough gems on turn 1, which I don't, I'm gonna get hit by armor again, aren't I? Let's take a look. So let's see if I'll get hit by armor. I won't, because he won't attack it. So now I gotta activate this way. Now let's see how much damage I can actually deal without armor in the way. So this is like a 4 support card. You know, one of the options for somebody who's just kind of starting out. Now, of course, I am going up against a Ruby boss. So people probably wouldn't go up against a Ruby boss. And I dealt a total of 180 billion damage with that deck, right? I mean, like, yes, I don't have a 6-star card, so I'm not really getting 300% boost, you know, all of that stuff, right? But it's just, there's just not a lot of damage output here. Another question here. Yan, how am I doing? Do I still play Puzzle Warriors? So I don't, not anymore. So Puzzle Warriors is, don't get me wrong, Puzzle Warriors was very different, very interesting, but to me it was just yet another match 3 game. And while I was really into it, there were also just a lot of personally, I just couldn't get myself into it as much. And so I just kind of stopped, and most of the guild right now have sort of moved on to. I do feel bad. Like, I joined, I played really hard, and I got a lot of people to play the game, but some of them really, really enjoyed it. I think just for me, after a while, I kind of felt like if I were going to be playing a match 3 game, at the time I kind of felt like I still felt the draw from Legendary, so I kind of went back to this. Although I am exploring a lot of different options, a lot of different games, right? So let's see. I'll see 2 events pull up to tier 5 plus mini packs, and you've managed to get nothing, like absolutely nothing, plain 0. Isn't that just the worst feeling, right? And so there is, to me, a very big difference between, you know, not having a lot of resources and taking a long time to save up the resources, but then being able to use those resources to get something, you know, as a reward by, you know, like let's say it takes me 2 to 3 weeks to save up enough gems to buy a deck or buy some tiers for a deck. I want to be able to get the deck, right? Like, if it takes me like 4 to 6 weeks or something, but I can get something really good that can actually help me. Like, I would prefer that experience than to say, oh, let's try, you know, every week, let's reset, try something, and then, you know, use all my hard-earned gems to get nothing, right? And so this is a reason why so many people have gone free to play for this game. But at the same time, like, once you go free to play, you have to accept the fact that you are not going to get a lot of good teams for 4 to 5 weeks at a time, right? So really, your best bet when you do free to play, like I'm doing this season, is I'm banking on the fire event. So like, I've built up some pretty good fire cards at this point. So I'm waiting for the next fire commander event. I'm just going to go in with it, and, you know, just build up a fire team. Like, I could literally just kind of say, like, every event from now on, I just play the bare minimum, open a tier, like open 1 tier per revival vault or something, do okay in the Kings League, try to get to emperors if possible, and then you know, and then just kind of ride it out until fire. Like, that's another option that I might actually just try and do. Like, I don't want to burn myself out anymore. That's the problem. Like, I'm just feeling really, really, really burnt out, and it's just, you know, something that I have to watch out for. And so I needed to take a little bit of a break, but I don't want to just, like, you know, I don't want to just walk away. Like, I have put in a lot of effort into this game, and I do enjoy it. It's not like I don't enjoy it. It's just that, you know, the burnout is real, and I find myself, you know, not producing very good content either. I felt like it just wasn't really that great, and I felt bad about that. And so I kind of felt like, you know, I needed to step back a little bit and sort of figure out what it is I really wanted to do. And hopefully you guys will be okay with that. So let's see. There's more questions and more chatter, and so I think I see Common Limpy saying you're still playing Puzzle Warriors and you think it's okay still. Yeah, I mean, like I think it's definitely still a game that's in progress because there's still a lot of updates that they need to make. But I think that there's nothing wrong with the game. It's just uh, personally for me, I couldn't spread myself too thin with so many different match three type games. All right, so let's see about this one. Let's try this, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's try this. Let's just see what happens if I don't have any boosters. Jason Fox, maybe the devs should watch me and then they would understand the real needs instead of something what we want. And so like that I'm in the group where we provide some feedback to the devs, and there are others as well. But to respect their privacy, I'm not going to name any names here. But I don't think the issue really is that they're not listening. Like that's not really how I feel. Like I do get a sense a lot of times they're surprised by some of the feedback that we've given. We're like, oh, really? We didn't realize that, right? So like there is definitely some of that, and I will be the first to say that there definitely is good intent, but I'm just not sure that where the game is at right now, they can really address some of the problems. I think some of the bigger problems here is the game requires you to collect cards on a weekly basis. They went from one card a week to 5 to 6 cards a week, right? Like they went from collecting a card every day, every week to collecting a whole deck, and that shift right there, which it's not new. Like we've seen this for the past couple of years, and it's nothing new. It's just that how do they go? How do they go from that and like how we've been collecting everything to a different meta now, where it's about building up your existing decks, right? Like and I think that's really the challenge there. It's not for lack of effort, but yeah, it's difficult problem. So what I try to do is I try to sort of give them a perspective of, hey, like we really kind of this really sucks. Like this experience really is really bad, or like some things are really really important, and so they do try to address it when they can. But I know that there's still a lot of problems. Definitely is, right? And so I try not to make this into like a rant session, but it's just how I feel, and I'm just here. This is like a real talk type series where I'm just kind of gonna give my feedback on things. Like this is not nothing political about it, or there's no agenda. I'm just kind of trying to be honest with how I feel about things, and I do enjoy the game. Like there's a reason why I've played this for 4 years or so, but the biggest thing that I feel, and this is the one where I've mentioned this over and over again, and this is really the thing I think that it's gonna be hard to solve, is there's no strategy left in this game. To be honest with you, the strategies are more about understanding the cards. But once you sort of understand how the cards work and how to use it to your benefit, the gameplay itself lacks that. It lacks that strategical side that I really want, right? It lacks the part that it lacks the part that I'm actually looking for, and that is, hey, like while I'm playing, like I want to be challenged. I want to be challenged with, coming up with a way to beat the boss, right? As opposed to just being as quickly, like play as fast as I can and play for as long as I possibly could and grind it out for the next, 7 or 5 days straight. That's really what it's come down to, and that's the part that I'm not sure they can really address. And so, if you notice, I've actually played, Ribbon Guard for the last few, maybe last week and a half or so, and that's a game where I felt fulfilled with the strategical side. Like I can't even pass the second chapter yet, okay, in the campaign, and it's very different, right? Like being able to play a game where the concept is simple, but the sort of the variety is deep. There's a lot of different ways to play it, and of course you can spend money, you can get your really strong heroes, you can make it, you can go through very easily. That's always the case. There is always going to be some sort of pay to advance, pay to win type concept there. But going in as a free to play player, you compare Legendary and you compare a game like that, the challenge in this game is the inability for people to get cards, the inability for people to get good cards to do well in events, as opposed to the difficulty is, hey, like you just need to understand how to play the game a little bit better. Like there's a big difference there. And so for me, the lack of strategy is something that I've been talking about for a long time, and that's the thing I'm not sure they know how to fix yet. Androgynous, you're still playing the game to see where it goes. I can tell you that you're going to see incremental improvements for sure. Like from what I've seen from the feedback I've gotten from like what they're looking into, they're definitely looking at areas that they can improve on. They're definitely looking at areas that they can address and fix. And they have to prioritize things too. Like they can't just fix everything all at once. That's just not how development works. And so you should see it. But I think that the unfortunate part about it is that some of the fixes and some of the things that they are addressing won't feel like really an improvement for some people, because either they've waited for so long for it to get fixed that it no longer feels like an improvement, but rather like it's more like finally, like how long did it actually take for you to address this problem that should have been addressed like years ago. So like you kind of lose a little bit of that, sense of appreciation, because it's long past due, right? Either that, or it just doesn't feel relevant to a lot of the people. Like it doesn't actually address their problems. And what I think it comes down to is when you don't have an event deck, you don't get to have fun. And that is ultimately the biggest problem of this game. And that is, on a weekly basis, if you don't have this event deck, or if you aren't lucky to have like the boosted deck from like, a year ago or something, if you happen to join halfway through, you haven't really built up your repertoire arsenal of cards, and you don't get lucky with a particular event, then all that excitement goes out the door. Right? You join a guild, you're having fun, you're trying to do whatever you can, and then people sort of tell you, well, just go ahead and attack, just tag a boss. Like, just be a tagger for the week, right? Be on, right? Be on for however long we need you to be on. Make sure you're on frenzy all the time, and make sure that you're just, hitting the boss by opening the boss, hit, pause, and quit. Like, how much fun is that, right? Like, I have... And I'm going to be totally honest, this is the stuff that I don't really talk about, but how many of you have played this game and halfway through the animation, like literally find yourself waking up because you dozed off, right? Like, or like going through and trying to tag as many bosses as you can, and then realizing that, you just kind of not really paying attention to it anymore. Right, so you kind of end up doing something else. Like I'll be like watching Netflix at the same time, or I'll end up just listening to music, anything else to get my mind off of the game itself. And I feel like that's not really the point of playing a video game. So it's really that's why I just kind of felt burnt out. And right now, like I'm playing this kind of absentmindedly, and I'm not even thinking, like it doesn't even matter what boss I'm going through, right? Like literally, like it's the decision points I have right now, honestly, literally it's, do I use 3 keys or do I use 1 key, right? And once I have that figured out, it literally takes like one boss to figure it out. Then it's just the same thing over and over again. And so for me, it's like, oh, it's a Ruby boss, I can use 1 key. And hey, I mean, I'm going up against Corellium, I better use 3 keys. It's kind of gone mundane, and that this is what I fear about, like, there's really no end, not a very good end game here for like people that have already built up like a good team. Guild versus like GVG is sort of like the biggest challenge and the most fun aspect for a lot of people right now. And I totally get that. Like with the 5-star wardens that people are coming up with now, they're really crazy. Like they're super hard defenders. And yet what I see is some people, like, they can use the same deck over and over again that just, doesn't really matter what defense they have. I've seen people, I saw, I forget who it was. I saw somebody who had a 900,000 defense, right? Like look at my defense. My defense is at about 400k, 410. And for a lot of people that are in the mid to like higher guilds, like this is nothing. And I saw people like with 900,000 defense getting beat, all right? And it's just, it shouldn't be the case. But it happens. And so like there's a huge amount of imbalance too. So guild versus guild isn't quite where it needs to be either. A lot of people complain about it. And it's just, there's too many there's if you really analyze, there's like really just a lot of different areas that has issues at the sort of, once you reach a certain point, it becomes a real problem. Now, if you're not really at like a top tier guild, or if you're not really in sort of like the upper areas in the leagues, and maybe you don't feel that as much, maybe like that's still okay and fun for you. And that's sort of like the difference, right? Like there's just so much imbalance once you get a little bit higher up that for a lot of people, it just feels like such a waste of time and energy. And then for the others, it's like, it takes forever to try and build up a card. Like, people who like to play Proving Grounds, I remember when I did the Proving Grounds promo for them. I thought it was one of the greatest, additions to the game. Like, we were going to be able to get some historical heroes. This is going to be something that will challenge us. We were going to be able to build up our gauntlets to get better and get stronger. And then this is going to be something that we can compete guild versus guild, globally. And it's something that is different, that changes every day. Well, then it actually comes out, and then it is what it is today. Like, how many of us have actually gone a gauntlet that is able to break those, whatever they're called now? Like, I don't even play Proving Grounds anymore, just because like I don't know how many of those tokens I spent, and I could not get a single ascended gauntlet. All I got are these 6-star gauntlets that don't actually do anything. Like, that's another example of just like, things just don't work as well, and they just, good concept, but they just kind of forgot about it. And so, or like they give you something to do, and then they make it next to impossible to actually evolve unless you spend $100 to buy. Like, for example, I'm gonna show you this after I finish this boss here, but I think I need to call this out, because if you're watching and you aren't sure if you should spend money on this latest deal that you see, I can tell you right now, you shouldn't. There's actually been no deals that I've seen so far that is actually worth the money. Con William Deep, you're having a hard time recruiting, and you're down to 21 your guild now. That's a shame. Hey guys, so Con William Deep is recruiting. Let people know in the chat what guild you're in, because I can tell you right now, he is one of the few people that I've seen that spends a ton of time building up, help for people. And I've been to his Discord server. He's got very detailed information on every single event, and you have tons and tons and tons of info to gather there. And so if you're looking for a guild, or if you're looking to change things up a little bit, a guild where there's a good leader that can actually help you with your game, join Con William Deep's guild. You're not going to regret it. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can find the deals here. I don't know if it's going to be in here or not. I actually forgot to claim my free gift. Let's go and claim some. Here it is. So in the I got 10 gems. So in the gems area, let's take a look at the options. So you can spend $99 and you can get 6 new legend souls at 6 stars. You can get 3 of the new legend soul gifts, and you can get 1,800 mana for $99. So this right here, if you didn't know any better and you feel like a new legend is, the card to go for, you're going to be very, very, very disappointed. Not to, I don't want to say that the new legends are useless, but they're not worth $99 or $100 for you to get those 6 souls. And keep in mind, you need 10 6-star souls to be able to get it to, to be able to actually craft it out. So buying one pack, if you didn't have any 6-star souls, doesn't get you a new legend. So that's going to be, you're going to have to now buy 2 of these, right? Or you can save a little bit of money, buy 1 for $100, and you can see the next one is $40. That gives you 2 6-star souls. So yeah, you gotta get 2 of these, right? For $80, $180 to get you 1 single legend at 6 stars. Okay. Now, granted, I have a couple. It took me 2 to 3 years to get, but I refuse to spend money on them, and I've got them. And guess when I use them? hardly ever. Like when I do, yes, I use them when I play. Let's go with this, right? I can show you fire. Sorry, I use it when I do the Corellian gold, the trial bosses, but I can use a 4-star one for that. I don't need a 6-star one. Like it is just insane to me. Like I got this, right? This is what you get if you spend if you bought 2 of the $100 packs, and I don't believe that it's guaranteed, right? It doesn't. This is also random. So imagine you buy this and it gives you 1 of each affinity. You've got nothing at the end of this. And 1,800 mana? Are you kidding me for $100? Right? So this is the kind of thing that I personally feel just very disappointed by, and it's the cost. And it's not just the cost; it's just the blatant overpricing of materials and items that give you no benefit. And yet, people who don't know any better would spend money on this. And so, this is the one practice that I personally really, really disagree with. And nothing I say though will help. Okay, like I've talked to them about their pricing structure. I've talked to them about just whatever it is. But honestly, it's business for them, and they don't care about what I have to say, right? They don't care about what anyone else has to say. Their business model isn't anything that the devs can do anything about, and that is just how it is, right? So now you know better. Don't spend $100 to buy that Legend Soul pack, because it is worthless. It is absolutely worthless, and I'm really disappointed that they actually came up with something like that. At least back when they were give you these lightning deals, like, hey, spend $40 and you can get one of these kind of old warden, but it's still kind of useful, or this brand new warden that nobody else has yet. Okay, people can choose. They can decide whether they want that warden or not, and they can see it, and it's cash for real stuff. But this one is so bad that I can't even imagine that they had this. Androgyos, crafting the new legend still is one of the most convoluted process in Legendary. Yeah, it is. To this day, I still don't have the combined one. I'm getting really close. I have a 5-star. I have a couple of 5-stars and a couple of them at 6 stars. So I'm just waiting to get them. I need both of them at 6 stars to craft 1 4-star combined legend. But I'm getting there eventually. If I still play, I don't know when it's going to I don't know when I'll get there. If I stop playing before I get there, it'd be really sad. So maybe that's one of the reasons I'll continue to play, just so I can get my combined legend. I know that Con William Deep has one though. So if I ever get to that point, he's my goal to reach. Jan, this game is extremely overpriced. This previous VIP 10 player, you gotta admit, it's almost all the cards are obsolete. It is very, very true, right? I think there were times when I was really optimistic about it, and I would say hey, I think this is a good direction that they're going into. I think this is, something that we could all benefit from. The times that were good when they dropped their packs to half price, that was actually beneficial. When they gave away these, free ultimate forms by people playing, bring people together. Hey, let's make sure that we hit these goals, and once you hit this goal, you're gonna get these cards. Remember when we everybody got free wardens? That was great, right? That was great. Everybody got free wardens, and you can ascend them and all that stuff. I think it was a Starlight. It was when they had the boys event. Those are kind of things that I feel that were, when they're actually going the right track. But then they do this one time, and then we don't see them ever again for the next 4 or 5 months. And yeah, it's just, so for the most part, I try to ignore a lot of that. I try to focus on the game mechanics, but it just, over time, I felt that when I first started doing YouTube for this game, the focus I had was, was to help people see that, hey, there are other cards available that you may not know about that would be really helpful. I would be very excited to look through these old cards that were released, that were free to obtain. These are not one of the release cards, but just the cards are available in the game, in the system. And I came up with some really fun deck ideas. And that was fun. That was really fun. And not a lot of people knew about my channel back then. So like I think just like a little bit here, and some people like noticed it, and then it kind of grew from there. But for a long time, that's what I really enjoyed doing. I would literally be sitting at work, and I'll take a look at the new cards that are coming out, the new events that's coming out, and then I would be like, I'll be thinking all day long about like, hey, this is the combination I could probably come up with. I could not wait to check it out. I could not wait to make a new video for it. It was something that I just felt was, really exciting. And that is a big thing that I'm missing right now, like that creative process I used to go through because of the introduction of all of these, improvements. Empowered heroes is now 10 times more damage. Ultimate forms now give you killer bonus that's at 4 times. That's when it first started. And then the new Dawn came out and everything is at 6 stars. And then after that, I was like, like from 1 to 3 stars, it is now not. At first it was 8 times more damage. Now it's 9 times more damage. So if you had like an old hero that you crafted a year ago that that's only 1 star, it's like, oh, it's only a 1-star ultimate form. It's okay, you can't really use it, but like, hey, beggars can't be choosers type thing. And when I step back and thought about those statements, it's absurd. It's absurd that I should have to say that, oh, you only got a 1-star ultimate form from like, a year ago that you might have worked really hard on getting, and that was really good at the time, but now it's completely worthless. And if you really wanted to feel good about yourself, you really need to, to spend your gems to get the new deck. And if I wanted to help you with anything that involved support card, event card, or even just master collection, like, master collection, or even just the ultra rare card, like, anything that's non-ultimate form, it's like, oh yeah, like you could probably use that, but you're gonna have a really hard time doing anything with it. Like there's no point in even trying. That's how I felt, right? I know that's being a little bit unfair, but I felt that the experience I had before and the experience I have now is completely different. Like I'm not having fun anymore building decks, because now building decks is a matter of finding whether or not I have the ultimate form from the various events. If I didn't have the ultimate form, then it doesn't really help. And how many teams have I shown right now? Just like an example, like this team that I'm showing right here. How many ultimate forms do you see here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 ultimate forms for a okay setup. Okay, this is 4 ultimate forms with killer skill. 4 ultimate forms with killer skill that just does okay. I mean, how absurd is that, right? And so that's why I needed to take this step back. And, I would really love to hear how you guys feel about this. Like, this is not meant for me to be, I'm not really thinking of this as like a rant session. I probably am doing a lot more of that than I really want to. But it just, it just, I feel like I needed to say it, or I'm going to end up like rage quitting. That's where I'm at. Like I sort of had to reflect on where I am right now with the game. And I know I'm going to play, but I'm not one of those people that like to just announce, oh, I'm going to retire, or I'm going to stop playing, and all of these reasons, and say goodbye and make a big deal about it, only to say, well, hey, guess what? Like 2 weeks later, I missed the game. I kind of want to come back and play. Like I know that I will still play the game, but I just, I just wish that it wasn't so, I just wish that it was more fun. That's all. Dante Amador. Thank you for your message. So let's see. MP Creative Arts, you managed to get the Endless. It's now 3 pink stars because the devs changed the look of her. Total power is the same. Really? A total power of 5 stars, 2350. That's not very different, is it? So I think what they said is that it's just a cosmetic change. It is not a power change. Although actually just today I gave the feedback that, hey, look, like these legend cards that you got, it's great that you're giving them some like, cosmetic changes, but ultimately you need to give them like a real difference. Like you need to actually give them a change. So here is my 4-star Ascended Ray. And what I told them is like, hey, look, I went through all this trouble and I got my Ray to 4 stars, and it feels useless. Like I don't even use it in really any situation. Like, but it's supposed to be useful, right? Like if you look at it, the battle skill, it gives you 400% damage for all your fire heroes. So now you can really bring in any Slayer or any Commander event, and you're supposed to do better. But its skill is really still really weak, and it still doesn't really seem to do as much. And it's just, something needed to be done, right? Like it needed to be to feel a little bit more special. So I actually gave that feedback. So we'll see how they go. So let's see. Area and Colossi Ultimate Form really do help. Yes, you're right. So like if you have those, you're going to do really well. Although I kind of feel like this setup I have right now, if you were to take out either the Queen Mother or Paranormal Agents and you replace that with a Colossi, you actually don't need Area, and you're going to do just fine. Like you can see here, like I was kind of just playing a little bit here without too much thought, and I was able to get MVP still. So like this is actually a deck that's a lot faster. Like with Area, you can pretty much guarantee that if you lock your boss, you're going to be able to take it out. But right now you can see like this is actually a little bit quicker, and you can actually do a little bit better damage. Like the deck I'm using, it does really ultimately depend on the nuke damage of your Freedom Fighters. And because I have my Freedom Fighters at 4 stars, I'm actually getting more damage output here. I'm actually getting 10 times damage with this deck. And notice what I'm doing still is I'm still not doing matches where I have a 6 power gem level 6 and I'm not connecting it. Like I said before, you get better damage if you don't do that. If you just do your power gem swap and you leave it, generally you'll do better damage there. Arcane Killer, you're going to use your 4-star Ray and ultimate bosses in the next fire event. Hey, let us know how it goes. I've only used the 4-star Ray and silver trial bosses. I haven't actually used it in an actual event. I tried it and then immediately took it out just because it wasn't useful enough. So there's a question, can you get a refund for the ultimate form? I doubt it. I think that if you've actually crafted the ultimate form, it's gonna be it's probably gonna be difficult for you to convince them to refund you, although you can always try. But I've heard conflicting stories about like what happened once they've requested for refund. Like some people said they were banned for like, some period of time, or, just some other things. So who knows? You can always try, but I would say do it at your own risk. Either just throw your so there's another so like definitely like the meta here is anything that gives you power gem upgrade and anything that gives you damage or attack upgrade is going to be good. In Commander though, I feel like the attack boost is not as useful as damage boost. If you have damage boost and power gem upgrade, that sometimes actually does better than just pure attack boost. And so these are some of the solved problems too, and that's the thing, right? Like, once we figure that out, every event is the same. It's just searching for like, oh yeah, there's this card, just let's recycle this one card that other people may not have access to, and then let's just do the same thing over and over and over again. In my chat in network right now, like what I really like seeing, kudos to everybody who's in that channel actually, is that they're very helpful actually. They come up with all kinds of different builds and all kinds of different decks, but if you kind of look closely, ultimately the ones that are successful, they all kind of go back to the same set of cards. And really what makes the big difference is the relic situation. Like some people have better relics than others, so they do better damage than others, but ultimately it always comes down to like very similar setup. And so I would say, if you're struggling and you have not yet joined the network chat that I'm in, take a look there. Deck Builders is another channel that has pretty good topics. You can take a look there. And also, like I said, join Con William Deep's Discord channel. You're going to get a lot of good information there. That's the one thing I haven't done. Like I did set up a Discord server a very long time ago, but I've never kept up with it. And so, unfortunately, I don't have that. They'll give you gems as birthday gifts if you tell them it's your birthday, but they don't do it every week. But don't do it every week. Yeah, it's like, hey, I turned blah 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 this week, and then next week, like, it's my actual birthday. I could actually technically say, hey, look, in this culture, like my birthday starts on January 1st, and then there's my actual birthday, and then there's like the lunar calendar. There's like different things you could. Don't actually try it, but I'm just kind of joking around, of course. So how are you guys feeling? How are you feeling at this event? Like, are you feeling it? Like, I think Con William D mentioned that it's a feels like the bosses are more abundant, like there's more available. I just feel like there's less people really playing. Like I didn't actually play all day, and my ranking isn't suffering too bad actually. Let's see. Any other questions? Goran, too much grinding, especially in Commander with the maps. You hate the maps. Yeah, I know. It's not fun to grind through. I see you have a positive experience with the refund from network. You requested once, and they changed the look of your sun and wood and stone, and then they refunded you. I see. Okay, well, yeah. So I think for some people, that is good. And so, Androchios, don't worry about mine. Like, honestly, like, I don't even have anybody in there right now. So, like, I'm not even actively going to, bother advertising it. But that is also true. We have, Androchios also has a Discord server that he or she has been maintaining for a while now. And I, in that also got tons of information. So that's 2 servers that you can get a lot of information from. So like I would say, join both. You can definitely get, between those 2, you're never going to run short on information. So please feel free to add a link to your Discord server here as well, and I will make sure to advertise them also. These are the 2 sort of like external links that I think would be beneficial for anybody who is looking for non-video type thing. We're like, this is a 56-minute stream, and I recognize that not a lot of people are going to watch it. Like I get feedback all the time, like, your videos are way too long. I'm not really going to spend my time watching it. There's not like very good, useful information. Well, I guess the good news is this is not one of those streams where I'm really divulging a lot of like, very important information. So you can watch or you don't have to. If you don't want to, this is really just me wanting to have a chat and sort of let people sort of, know how I feel right now. So I appreciate all of you sort of sticking around with me right now. It's kind of like, there is not I don't really have like a specific topic in mind, although I was kind of hoping to just kind of engage with you guys and sort of see like what else about Legendary can we talk about, what else is there, and really like how long, just let's just chat about them, because I think that for me this is at least a good way to unwind, to just be able to get back into the groove again, right? So I do appreciate this. Try to nuke as a leader. So let's see. You want me to try to... I think in this case, it doesn't really make a difference, right? So Custodians of Fate will give me damage across all Dark Slayer heroes. The Freedom Fighters will give me 300% for all Dark Slayer heroes. And so there's no difference, and I actually get more health here. Now, some heroes... Like if I had I'll show you a different team. I actually mentioned this earlier. So like in this particular case, where I'm playing almost all immortal cards, but I do have a couple of commander cards, I actually chose to use high performance unit area because this one gives you damage for all dark immortal killer. And so in this case, it's actually a little bit better. Rocky Miller, love the chat. Thank you very much. It is definitely I'm very proud of how the chat has been maintained, to be honest with you. And like a lot of the people, they actually just like, I can't thank them more. Like I can't thank them enough, because honestly, like what I see is they self-moderate. Like I've always sort of, requested that they respect that I want the channel to be family and kids friendly. And I want to make sure that we are being, mindful of who's reading the chat, and that we try to help out when we can. And of course, there's always like very like fun banter back and forth. But for the most part, they've really kept it very, very informative. And I really, really appreciate it. Like I can't actually be on the chat all the time, and I haven't really had the need to moderate a whole lot. For the most part, it has been really, really useful. So, so I think your comment there is a testament to what they've done. So I appreciate that. Could I do a updated video about Guild versus Guild? So I think there was a comment. I'm not sure if you're the one. You might have been. Well, I know that there's someone else that asked about that as well. I think the question is like, now with all of these new wardens, 5-star wardens and whatnot, like what is the strategy? What are the best decks to use? I could try and do something about it. Although I gotta be honest, I actually don't focus a lot of my time on Guild versus Guild. I will show you the cards I'm using though. And we can probably do something about it. in this stream. Why not? Because it is one of those free-form chats. I don't have like a ton of topic anyway, so we can definitely talk about guild versus guild. So let's see. Can I actually deal? I actually dispelled armor, so that's good. I think that's the reason why I put in Custodians of Fate, because you can dispel something here, so I can still deal damage. So this is okay. Like it's a little bit slow, but I should be okay. Even if somebody comes and takes it out, I'll still get MVP here. So let's try guild versus guild after this, right? We can talk about sort of like how I've been playing, and I've really just been using one team. And although with that setup, with introduction of 4-star and 5-star wardens, my team is getting stuck. Without the usage of a Dragoon, I am actually sort of hitting my capacity at this point. Patrick, a YouTube fan, look in game, it's YouTube. You get a nuke live too. So are you getting 2 quadrillion damage pre-nuke, or you're hitting 2 quadrillion as the nuke damage? I mean, that's still really good. SMC, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try. I do what I can. Yeah, do I know how to get compound guild versus guild defender relic? When you say compound GVG defender relic, let's just go to guild versus guild. Let's talk about it, because I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Because I'm not sure if you maybe not using the same terms here. So let's take a look at my guild versus guild team right now. So here's my setup, and I guess we can take a look. We can take a look at the practice, and here you can sort of see. So there are now 3-star cudgels. I'm not sure if they have 4. Can you do 4-star? No, you can't. You can do 3. So like you can actually forge them. If you manage to get a 2-star cudgel, you can now go up to 3-star also. But you need to. Where's the? Oh, I guess you can't do that here. I thought that you could see the upgrade from here, but you basically need to get. Is it cores? I don't even remember what you need to get anymore. Like I got something. Oh, you need to get ascended ingot. You need to ascended ingot to get it to 3 stars. That's how long it's been for me. Like I've never gotten this. So you need to get the cudgel, right? So if you have the hammer, you go from the hammer. You need to attack the legend trial bosses to get the cores. And then once you get the cores, you can get them to cudgels. Then once you get the cudgels, then you need to get the ascended ingot in order to get it to 3 stars. But I can't remember if you can go from 3-star to 4 stars. So compound is the name of the GVG relic that the pay to play players use. Oh. Then I'm not sure. Again, like, is this the defender relic or the attacker relic? If you're talking about the attacker relic, I don't really have a lot of them high level. Yeah, so the descending is only by Corellian legends, not by the gold. That's right. I have played through all of my ascended ones and I have not gotten any. Right, so if you take a look at gear, so Yan, I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question, but let's take a look, right? So if we are talking about situations, so like here is GVG attacker. So there, I need to change this out. Target is not scrolls. I'm not looking for scrolls. No filter. So GVG attacker. So like there are some like these ones. Is this what you're talking about? Where you get you collect runes for them and then you get them up to. Oh, compound V, that's the one you're talking about. Okay, I couldn't understand. I couldn't wrap my head around what the compound is. I thought you were talking about like the ones that you combine. I'm not sure that you can get them anymore. I think they were only available during the event that you can buy. Sorry for going roundabout there. I got really confused. I really wasn't sure what the compound relic was. So anyway, so let's take a look at this team, right? So like, here's an example where I have a 3-star, I have a 3-star ascended dark warden, even though my main team is light. So the meta nowadays is to go mixed affinity, and a lot of the things that you're going to see are some are going to have weaken, Toxin and Gem Silence. Like these are very, very common still. The ones that are less common now are going to be your counterattack. Hardly anybody ever runs any alacrity anymore. Although armor for the dark armor one still can be very effective. I use slumber in there, but I'm not even sure if it's useful. Like I see people crushing this team like all the time, right? And really, I think this needs to be at 5 pink stars in order for this to actually stand a chance. But in order for me to get it up to 5 pink stars, I'm gonna have to get a lot more resources. I do not have the I don't have the ability to get that. So here's the team I have, right? And the deck that I use, I'm not even sure I can take this out. Like the slumber one is going to cause me problems. So I use this. This is the team I use, right? So like I use Perceptive Gurus to give me immortal bonus. I use Verdant Druids to nuke down Savage Swarm and Moonlight Matriarch to give me immortality, and then I use Yorn Swarmers, which unfortunately not everybody gets for turn delay. This, for the most part, does its job okay. I can still take down defenders at like 300-ish, but people who have like 4 or 5 star wardens, they completely block me. Even water heroes completely block me at 5 pink stars. And so I haven't really spent a lot of time to overcome that, and so I don't know that my content is going to be really good for the people that are really looking for that sort of like top level strategy guide. What I can give you is sort of a, hey, like this is what I'm using for mid-tier level guild versus guild bosses. You could probably try this. I actually haven't tried this against myself since I've gone 3 stars. I have a feeling that this is probably not going to do much. And the way I can tell is how much damage I can do on my first nuke. So right now I'm boosted from Perceptive Gurus. And if I attack here, I can see that all of my attack is blocked. I just go and quit. So this deck actually won't work against my team right now because I guess it being off affinity and also at 3 stars is enough to block my team, so I'm not even going to bother because you can see it dealt absolutely no damage, and this is a boosted nuke, right? So with the boosted nuke, not getting anything, even if I get to like 3,000-4,000 intensity, I'm not going to be able to do much there. And so that is just like a given. Like I wouldn't even try it. So sorry, I'm not really going to be able to do a whole lot on the guild versus guild side, but this is something I try to work on, so I can try and see what I come up with. And there is some suggestion from MP Creative Arts there. I just went to attack again. I didn't mean to do that. So thanks for the suggestion there. So Iron God Killer, what do I think of the 2 new wardens from the previous event? Would you believe me if I told you that I didn't actually even get a single one? I think the ultimate warden, right? There's a fire one that you can get up to 5 pink stars, and I saw a couple people with them. And then immediately I saw some people take it out with a water deck. So I don't actually have any thoughts about it other than that I refused to spend my resources I didn't have to try and come up with it. I got the Hera sigil, so I could have gone like a basic 4-star Hera, but then anything above that, I would either have to beg people to give me the gift or I have to sort of buy it myself. And I just kind of felt like ultimately what it comes down to is they're selling this fad, this like sense of need, the sense of like, oh, I need to get this or I'm going to miss out, and they're capitalizing on it. And I just personally felt like I did not want to be a part of it. And so it is like if people who have gotten it to 5 stars, that's great, right? Because that means you have a really strong warden there. But I've seen it also get taken out pretty easily by the same decks that that have been strong all along. And so like I just felt bad seeing that it didn't make that much of a difference to them. I think I saw something in one of my my chat rooms mention like, yeah, I got the 5 stars and then immediately tried my water deck and saw it got taken down, so I stopped using it. And it was like, it felt bad, right? So I don't have, I guess, long story short, I don't know enough about it to really make a good feedback about it. All I know is I didn't go after it, and I have seen people try and varying degrees of success, but I felt like it was a very very expensive event if you try to chase after that. That's how I felt. They suck. Is that SMC? Is that the response to how do you feel about the wardens? The ultimate warden feels a little bit tacked on. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like I'm perfectly happy just going along with the wardens that I am going to collect. Although that kind of makes me curious. I didn't actually bother taking a look to see what warden we're gonna get. Look at that. I just like casually playing. I am now at top 40 in the Kings League, so that's nice. Oh, this is going to be a dragoon rather than a warden. This one is going to be an arcane killer that creates 5 light power gem 4s and gains the bonus attack buff for 1 turn. So this is going to be the previous light commander that we had, right? And this one is the same as the event card, right? So this is where if you specialize it, becomes the master collection card where you can basically do a nuke damage in a commander deck. The deck is okay. I actually prefer the ultra rare cards ability much better, where you can give the Excalibur 500% damage boost. I think that's a much better skill. And so I haven't ascended a this is how bad it is, right? Like I haven't bothered ascending a dragoon in a very very long time. So I still have one just at 1 star, a couple at 1 star. I kind of try to keep up with my guild versus skill wardens, but it's really just like I get it as I go. I don't really focus on it too much, and I have not like even gone past I think the 10,000 trophy collection for the season rewards, just because I don't really do the quests too much, and so I'm really lagging behind in a lot of respects here. So like that's just to be honest, like I haven't really done a whole lot here, but I do enjoy the theory, the theory crafting aspect of it, and I do think that the Tuesday streams where we go through like possibilities and what you can do with a deck. I think that's still enjoyable, but so far, it's just beyond that. I haven't really focused too much. I haven't really had a lot of goals lately. And I'm just kind of absent-mindedly going through here. Like you can see, like I'm just going using the same deck here. This one takes a few hits, but it works. And so if you have Freedom Fighters, you should be okay there. So you've never seen someone with a 5 pink star Dragoon because the Risen Stones are extremely hard. I know people have 4. I think some people might have 5. I don't remember who, but I'm sure there are a lot hanging around. Like if you look at some of the top guilds, they probably all use those. Like because that's where a single loss will matter a lot. Otherwise, it's like all ties at the very top tier. And like Arcadian has Ashen who joins our chat from time to time. He'll tell you about it. It's pretty bad up the top. So the stream's going on strong 57 viewers. This is actually, I appreciate you guys hanging out here. This is probably not going to get the kind of views that I'll normally get with the preview streams, but that's okay. I'm not really going after the views right now. I hope that you guys enjoyed what we were talking about. I do appreciate the conversation that we're having, and I also see some helpful conversation going on there. So hopefully people who are joining in are still getting something out of it. And I think that, this is probably going to be my last boss, and I'm probably going to end the stream after this a little bit. Like I try not to go for like a 2-hour long stream. That kind of gets really, really long. But, this has been very helpful for me, to be honest with you. It's been a little bit of a, challenge for me to sort of get in the groove. And so I do apologize for kind of being MIA on Tuesday. Some of you were kind of waiting on a preview, like they didn't see a stream, and then they were waiting for a video and didn't see a video. And then instead I came out with a bunch of videos for for Riven Guard, and so the people did have questions, and I'll try and get back to it, although I can't. I have to be honest. Like if I don't find myself enjoying it, then I'm probably going to take a break from it. That's kind of where I'm. But right now, this has helped me a lot. Right, so this definitely has helped, and hopefully next Tuesday, when the time comes around, I'll be able to provide some useful input for the, what is it going to be, Earth, right? Earth Commander event, and it's going to be Earth Commander. What is going to be a killer? I can't remember. Is it Beast? Somebody will remember. I mean, I can also take a look at the Proving Ground store to see what's going to be. Let's take a look. Is it Beast? No, I don't think it's going to be Beast. I think that comes next season. So what is it going to be this season? Let's take a look at the Proving Grounds. Let's take a look at the store. And let's take a look here. So I've already used my coin. I got the Siren, right? Which is, I thought was a really critical card. Oh, this one's going to be Jailer. Okay, so this is going to be... somebody just asked me about it. I completely forgot. Yeah, so if you haven't used your coins yet, the Jailer's deck is going to be a really good one. So I definitely will be mentioning that in my upcoming stream if I do it for the Tuesday preview. Arcane is going to be very useful for you. So let's see. Yeah, 3 Pink Star 8 Train Dragoon has the same benefit as the other 4 Pink Star Dragoons. Only 8 Train gets 1000% damage. Oh yeah, I need to look at that. I haven't really paid attention to those. So any thoughts on what we can do as a community to help make the game better, to help devs see we need to tone back greed, but to try and make it fun again? I think this is where I would say if we are really looking to make a change, right? If we really are looking to make a change, the best way is to have a constructive dialogue and to, provide our input in a way that can be consumed, right? So you never, like, I have never advocated for something like a boycott of any kind. Like, you've never seen me do this in any of my videos, and there have been others that have tried this in the past and have actually actively tried to get me to support it, and I've always refused because I don't think that is healthy for the community or the game, and it doesn't actually get anywhere. People will argue that it hurts their wallet. That's when they're going to listen, but I also feel like there are other ways that we can try and do this. So besides my video, which I don't think they watch anymore. I think they used to watch some of the videos. I don't think they watch anymore. I think that we could definitely just start up some dialogue there. I think being positive, not being positive, but just being how do I say this? Bring out the arguments without attacking, like the personal attacks, without the personal insults. Just try to keep it, keep it to the point. Like, why is this needed, right? Like, look, the game's too expensive. Most of us can't afford it. It is not fun when you can't get the deck, and this is a real inhibitor for us to play. There are a lot of alternatives, right? Leaving reviews, honest reviews for the game, and I think that they do try to gather feedback in the questions in the network app, but honestly, a lot of what I see there is just they're either not really answering the question, or whenever they come up with any sort of suggestions, it's just a lot of personal attacks and a lot of just like just feedback that really isn't actionable. And so if we really want to change, I think we need to really figure out what is it that we really need, like what is the change we're really looking for, and to present it in a way that allows for the word is escaping me, civil, right? Like a civil, some sort of a civil dialogue there. But honestly, those are things that also have been tried. So I'm not saying that this is going to be the only way that will work, because we've tried a lot of different things, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. And at some point, I think, I hate to say it, like, if they don't get it, if they don't refuse to change it, if they just don't think that it's necessary to change, then the people who won't accept it will just walk away. And so I think for me, the best thing really is just, just walk away if you can't, if you're not getting the joy out of the game. But I don't think that's what we really want, because we are enjoying the game. We want this to be better. And so I'm hoping that they will listen and they're reading the feedback. I do appreciate, everybody, bringing their feedback here, because I try to reiterate some of this also in the sessions I have with them. But I can only get like this much in their time, and so we'll see how it goes. EMP, thank you so much for your comment there. And so I think that's gonna be it for me. Again, thanks a lot for allowing me to sort of have this opportunity to just wander and talk about different things in the stream. And for those of you who watched to the end, thank you. And I will definitely try to be back, although I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with the streaming format for the previews, or if it's going to be offline videos again. I think that I'm still trying to find the good balance for usefulness, and I think the preview event videos they're intended to be useful for people, and sometimes I don't think they're getting the benefit out of it as much as they could, and so I'm still figuring out what the best way is. But I will I'll keep thinking about it, and I'll keep you up to date. So thank you very much for joining me here, and I'm going to sign off for now. So leave me a comment if there's anything else that you wanted to ask or wanted to provide feedback on. I didn't get a chance to respond to you. Feel free to message here. And again, quick recap: we have 2 Discord servers. So Come Willing Deep and LGOH. Please feel free to put your link in the comment below, and also just thank you for your time. So thank you guys. Take care, and I will